I am 92 years old, and I have lived long enough to see patterns most people never notice. I have said goodbye to parents, siblings, friends, neighbors, and even people I thought would outlive me. Time slowly teaches lessons that no book, doctor, or advice ever could. For a long time, I believed living long was about luck or good genes. That is what people like to hear. But after attending more funerals than celebrations, I began to see something clearer. Most people did not leave early by chance. They left because of how they lived. It was never one big mistake. It was the small habits repeated every day without question. The things people defend, joke about, or say they will change later. Those small choices quietly shape how long the body and mind can keep going. I am not here to scare you or preach to you. I am simply telling the truth as someone who has watched life up close for a very long time. Some of the things you do daily are slowly stealing years from you without noise or warning. So listen carefully. I want to share 7 things I stopped doing while I still had the strength to choose differently. I believe with all my heart that letting go of these habits is the reason I am still here today. The first thing I stopped doing was eating late at night. It sounds small, almost silly, but it changed more than I expected. For years I ate dinner, then snacked while watching television. It felt harmless, something everyone does without thinking. Over time, I started waking up tired and heavy. My joints ached, my mind felt foggy. I did not feel rested even after sleeping. My grandmother used to warn me about eating late, and for years I ignored her, thinking I knew better. One day I finally listened. I stopped eating when the sun went down. My last meal was early, and after that only water or tea. At first it was uncomfortable. I felt the habit pulling at me every night. But within weeks, something shifted. I woke up lighter, clearer, and calmer. My body felt less inflamed, less rushed. I realized the night is when the body repairs itself, and it cannot do that while it is still working to digest food. Your body needs quiet to heal. If you keep it busy all night, it never catches up. This habit seems small, but repeated for years, it slowly wears you down without mercy. The second thing I stopped doing was arguing with people who did not want to understand. I used to believe that if I explained myself better, others would change their minds. I felt the need to correct, defend, and win every disagreement. All that arguing gave me nothing in return. It raised my blood pressure, stole my sleep, and filled my mind with anger. Not one single argument made someone wiser. People believe what they choose, no matter how loudly you speak. One day I realized something painful. Trying to fix everyone's thinking is like trying to empty the ocean with a spoon. It is exhausting, pointless, and slowly drains the life out of you. Now, when someone says something foolish or cruel, I smile and let it pass. I do not need to prove anything. Protecting my peace matters more than being right, especially at this stage of life. Every argument you avoid is energy saved. Every battle you walk away from is time you keep. Peace is not weakness. It is one of the strongest choices you can make. The third thing I stopped doing was sitting for most of the day. I am not talking about exercise or going to the gym. I never did that. I am talking about staying still for hours, letting the body slowly forget how to move. I watched people I loved sit in the same chair from morning to night. They only stood up to eat or use the bathroom. Their bodies grew stiff, their energy faded, and their health declined faster than anyone expected. I made a simple choice. I started moving more during the day. I walked to the mailbox. I stood while talking on the phone. I worked in the garden and handled my own chores when I could. The body is meant to move, even gently. When movement stops, things begin to break down quietly. Blood slows, joints tighten, and strength disappears without making any noise. You do not need intense workouts to stay alive longer. You need movement woven into your day. Sitting too much is a slow, silent way of giving up time you still have. The fourth thing I stopped doing was holding grudges. For many years I carried old hurts with me, replaying them in my mind. I believed that remembering the pain would protect me, but it only made my days heavier and my body more tense. There was someone close to me who caused deep pain, the kind that stays with you for years. I stopped speaking to them and held that anger tightly, thinking they were the ones suffering because of it. The truth was hard to accept. They were living their life just fine. I was the one losing sleep, feeling tight in my chest, and carrying bitterness everywhere I went. The grudge was hurting me, not them. Unforgiveness sits in the body like poison. It raises stress, weakens the heart, and keeps the mind restless. You may not notice it right away, but over time it quietly wears you down. When I finally let go, I felt lighter in a way I cannot explain. Forgiveness was not for them. It was for my own peace. Your body cannot fully heal while your heart refuses to release old pain. The fifth thing I stopped doing was filling my mind with noise before sleep. For years, I watched the news every night. Violence, fear, arguments, and bad stories followed me straight into bed and stayed with me in the dark. I did not realize how much it was affecting me. My sleep was shallow. My dreams were restless. I woke up tired, even after a full night in bed. The mind does not rest when it is fed with chaos. What you see and hear before sleep matters more than most people think. The brain keeps working long after your eyes close, replaying whatever you gave it to chew on. So I changed a simple habit. I turned the television off earlier. I read a little. I prayed quietly. Sometimes I just sat outside and watched the evening settle. When the mind is calm, the body follows. Sleep became deeper, longer, and more peaceful. Protecting your mind at night is one of the quietest ways to protect your life. The sixth thing I stopped doing was trying to please everyone. For most of my life, I said yes to everything. If someone needed help, time, money, or attention, I gave it, even when I was already exhausted. I believed being good meant always being available. I thought love was measured by how much I sacrificed. But slowly I became tired, resentful, and empty, even while doing the right thing. Saying yes to everyone meant saying no to myself. My body felt worn down. My patience grew thin, and joy slowly disappeared. I was giving pieces of my life away without realizing it. One day I learned to say no. Not with anger, not with excuses, just honestly. The people who truly cared understood. The ones who didn't were never there for me anyway. Protecting your time and energy is not selfish. It is necessary. You cannot live a long, peaceful life while constantly draining yourself for others. The last thing I stopped doing was waiting to live. For many years, I believed life would start later, after work slowed down, after problems passed, after the right moment finally arrived. I told myself I would be happy when things were easier, when there was more time, when others were ready. But life does not wait. Days pass quietly while you keep postponing what matters. I lost people who were always planning for later, trips they never took, words they never said, joy they kept saving for a future that never came. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone, not to me at 92, and not to you at whatever age you are. Waiting feels safe, but it steals life one day at a time. If there is something you want to do, say, or feel, do not wait. The right time is not perfect. It is simply the time you still have.